Welcome everyone. In this episode, we are going to show you how to convert a 2D table, such as the one that you see on screen, into a database table which amends itself much more easily for analysis, either within Excel as pivot table or within Power BI itself. I'm going to show you two ways. One is using and doing it within Excel itself, and the other way is doing it within Power BI. Let's just start with using Excel first of all. So we have a table such as this. Quite often you get an Excel table that looks like this in the format that people present their so-called findings. You want to do further analysis yourself, but this type of table doesn't lend itself well either to pivot table or within Power BI in terms of transforming it for further visualization. So the first step in the data cleaning process quite often is to convert this from 2D to a database table format. Highlight all of the tables here and right click and select get data from table and range. Yes, my table has headers, and click OK. Notice that it brings up the Power Query Editor. The next step then is to decide what part of the table you want to unpivot. So in our case, we want to unpivot all of these data here. Okay, these, if you recognize them, they are actually 21st century skills. We have a whole lot of students here, and they all have varying level of skill sets when it comes to each of these 21st century skills. Right, so we select each of these columns by clicking them, and while you hold the Shift key down, select the next one. Alternatively, you can select the whole lot this way. So once you've done that, move forward to Transform. Okay, the next tab here, Transform, and select Unpivot Columns. Okay, once you select Unpivot Columns, notice that it's now converted to the so-called database format. So each student, we have the attributes, and then we have their so-called level. Okay, so for that, you can actually change it to competency. Okay, and change the label that way. So now you, for each student, for each of the 21st century skills that's highlighted by World Economic Forum, you can see this student's so-called competency level. It's based on 4 scales. You have novice, you have apprentice, practitioner, and expert. So this is really the method to do it within Excel. Once you're happy with it, then you just click Close and Load, and it will create a new sheet for you and basically have it in the table format for you to perform your further analysis, be it in using formula or using pivot table. Okay, so you have one of these Power BI fired up. So now the next thing to do is import Excel, either using this or this. Okay, and select the 2D table that you want to transform, open it, select the sheet itself, and you can see the data that comes through this way. So you need to transform the data, select Transform. Once again, notice that the Power Query Editor get loaded. This is the really interesting part, is that both Excel and Power BI make use of this same engine here. So hence they look exactly the same. Okay, the next thing now is that you notice that the column are not properly labeled. We do have our first row here being our headers. So come and click this Use First Rows as Headers. And notice now these are properly labeled using the 21st century skills title. And then you have the students, and then you have the so-called rating or competency rating. So next thing to do now is to actually transform these. And once again, you need to select the columns that you want to transform, and holding Shift key down, highlight all the columns and select Unpivot the Columns. Okay, once you've selected that, notice that you get the database table format now. Once again, you can actually convert this, change this header label to competency or competency level. Once you're happy with that, go back to Home, close and apply, and this data will be loaded. Once the data finished loaded into Power BI, you can head over to your data, and you can see the data being loaded into the data view. From there, you can start doing your computation or your analysis as you see fit. Don't forget to click the subscribe as well as press the bell button so that you are notified with all the new videos that I'm posting. Please do leave your queries and comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well as comments on these videos.